Hey, it's Aquila Mariyah here, and today I'm going to be discussing part 3 of my life story.
I like to sit back and watch a tree grow. I like the way they think it's all growth, not an ego. I wish that you could speak to these.
If you're new to my channel, my name is Aquila Mariyah, and I'm a mindset coach. I empower women to believe in themselves by rediscovering their worth. If you enjoyed the video, make sure you go ahead and hit the thumbs up button for the algorithm so that way it can reach more people. So let's get into it. So I was in that toxic relationship, and we were in an actual monogamous relationship for about 8 months. We broke up on and off since then. For the next 6 years we were on and off. He moved in with my family and I because he had nowhere else to go. So when we did break up, we broke up like a day or two after he moved in, but I didn't want him to leave because I was still hoping that we would get back together. So I would leave and I was working. I would have a lot of fun at work, and I would go out and go dancing with my best friend and my coworker who became our best friend. And we had so much fun, and then I would come home to negativity and toxicity, and he always just talked to me like shit. At 19, my family and I, we moved to Texas, and 6 months after we moved to Texas, we found out that my mom had stage 4 colon cancer. I still think that she knew beforehand. Not only because of this, but Texas is like a place to go to for cancer if you have insurance. If you don't have insurance, it's not the place to be. They literally kicked her out of a nice hospital that probably could have helped her and sent her to a trash ass hospital. I made a friend, and when I found out that my mom had cancer, I started smoking weed again. I spent less time at home because I didn't want to see my mom sick like that. And so I was either at work making money, working 40+ hours a week, or at my friend's house smoking weed. I did go back to Illinois to visit, and the guy that I was on and off with, we got into it, so I ended up spending more time with my best friend. I came home and I lived with my mom, and she said, "Oh, it feels so much more complete when you're here, when you're laying with me." I say this now and it's going to make sense at the end. So the guy and I officially broke up. And then he moved to Texas, about 3 hours from my family and I, and we got back together. And again, it wasn't any exclusive relationship. And my friend taught me how to stand up to him and not take his shit. He didn't like that, and he also didn't like me smoking weed with her, so he told me that I couldn't smoke weed anymore. Then he eventually said that I couldn't hang out with her anymore. So I just started lying about the fact that I was spending time with her and smoking weed, because I was like, I'm dealing with a lot of shit right now. I'm going to smoke weed, and I don't care. But I agreed to it so that way I wouldn't have to hear him keep complaining about it. So fast forward, I went and hung out with my best friend, and we were in the car with her friend smoking weed. And when we were dropping them off, one of them threw a water bottle at a car that drove by, and that car caught up with us and cut us off at the stop sign. And when they were getting out of their car, I was like, oh my god, reverse. And so we reversed, and they started chasing us. So we're reversing, and they're coming at us. And eventually my friend loses control, and the car just starts flipping. It flipped 3 times. And blessedly, I only got a black dot in the inside of my eye. And I have some cuts on my elbow, some scars. And then I have some scars on my foot as well. Nothing dramatic. I continued to lie about it. I separated myself from it. I told her I wanted no part. So when the cops came, I wasn't there. When anybody asked what happened, I wasn't there. I just told everybody that I fell down the stairs, and that's why I had this cut. I lied about the stupidest things. I was doing nothing actually wrong. I wasn't cheating or anything, but I was doing things that he didn't approve of, and so those are the things that I would lie about. Fast forward, 6 months later, my mom is literally withering away, and I get a call at work, and they say that she's waiting for us to say goodbye to her and tell her it's okay. And I'm like, well, it's not. So I went home, and I was spending time with her, and then I had the guy that I was talking to come visit me because I wanted comfort. And then he is there, and he's throwing a fit because I'm not spending time with him. And I'm like, well, I'm trying to spend time with my mom. Well, why did you tell me to come out here if you're not going to spend time with me? I was like, because I needed you. That's why. He's like, whatever, I'm just gonna leave then. And I'm like, well, I didn't want him to leave, so then I spent time with him instead of my mom. She ended up dying the next day, and she died right next to me. I laid down with her, and my sister was talking to my aunt, and she's like, why is she breathing like that? Talking about my mom. And I was like, she's just taking a nap, it's fine. And next thing I know, she's not breathing anymore. And I look over and I'm like, what is happening? And so I yelled for my sister. And then my other sister came in the door, and then she yelled for my other sister. She's like, don't you hear her yelling for you? And then she's like, what? And I'm like, she's not breathing. She's not breathing. And we begged for her to come back to life. And we had a bunch of family over, and she wasn't able to talk at the end. She wasn't able to talk. It was just like nothing made sense, and she just died. And I laid next to her until they came and took her. And then my life changed, and I hit rock bottom. I didn't want to live. I wanted to be with my mother, and I prayed and prayed that God would take me off this planet. And it didn't happen. And I know why now, but it's annoying. Life without your mom just isn't the same. They're the only person that will love you unconditionally, and it's just not the same. And I just didn't want to live anymore. And so yeah, I stayed in a toxic relationship, and it became abusive because I started hitting him, and so he started defending himself and hitting me back. And then it turned into him hitting me first, and him hitting me harder and harder. I didn't deal with the loss of my mother before, and I started to forget her voice. I started to forget her laugh, and I started to lose memories of her because I was just like, if I don't think about it, it won't hurt. And so I started losing memories of her. And my sisters and we just separated. I moved to Wisconsin for the summer, and my sisters moved into different houses because we couldn't live there anymore. And we just went our separate ways. My dad told us that he's gonna get annoying because he's gonna be checking on us all the time, and he checked on us once and never checked, like never really checked again. It turned into me reaching out to him all the time. And people kept saying things like, oh, she's in your heart, and oh, she's always with you. And it's like, nobody gives a fuck. If you're somebody who does that, we don't give a fuck. Shut the fuck up. We literally don't care if she's always in our hearts. We literally don't care if she's always with us. Nobody fucking cares. Hope you're not offended. If you are, it is what it is. When you lose somebody, when somebody loses somebody, don't tell them that. Tell them that you're there for them and actually be there for them. And that's it. That's it. Because you saying that just pisses them off. I bounced around to different locations. I moved to Wisconsin. I moved to Florida. I moved back to Texas. I kept moving around. I lived in Chicago for a summer. And all that time I was on and off with this guy, still treating me like shit, still putting his hands on me. So I'm editing this, and I forgot to add that I did lose my dog. His name was Alfie, and I lost him because the guy I was dating took him out for a walk and told him to put his leash on. I guess he didn't do it because we lived by a busy street, and Alfie like ran out, and I guess he called his name, and so he stopped in the middle of the street to like look at him, and then bam, he got hit by a car, and then he died. His ashes are right over there next to my mom's ashes. That was my dog. He was my favorite. Eventually I moved to Florida to be around my best friend because she had a son, and I wanted to be around them. One day I was sitting in the car with my friend and the guy that I was in a toxic relationship with, and out of nowhere he calls me a bitch. and it didn't hurt my feelings. And that was when I knew that I was free, and I knew that I could be on my own. If you enjoyed the video, make sure you go ahead and hit the subscribe button for more, and also the notification bell so that we are notified every time that I upload a video. I upload Monday through Friday at 6:30 p.m. Eastern Time. Stick around for the recommended videos after. If you didn't see part 1 or part 2, definitely go check it out. It'll be in the recommended videos. If you would like some one-on-one coaching so that way you can believe in yourself and move forward in life, check the link in the description below so that way you can book your free connection call with me and discuss possibly working together so that way you can reach your full potential. I hope you have a positive, blissful day or night whenever you're watching this. Make sure you share this with your family and friends. Always remember to be love, be peace, be positive, spread love everywhere you go, and always, always be you. I'll see you in the next video. Peace.
Growth, not an ego. I wish that you could speak to these motherfuckers.